Live. This is News 12 This Morning. On your side.
Good morning, 629. I'm Meredith Anderson.
And I'm Monique Williams. Here's a quick look at our top stories.
Multiple counties and local businesses coming together as the city of Waynesboro wakes up without water this morning. We'll talk about that water main break in a few minutes.
Baking soda could be the cure to autoimmune disease. More on doctors' findings in a minute.
Yeah, we've got a clear view across the Grovetown area, expecting to see nothing but sunshine as we move through the rest of the day. A little cool right now, though. You need a jacket. Looking outside, it's been nothing but steady low to mid 40s. A little bit of patchy fog, but really it's going to turn out to be a beautiful stretch of weather for the rest of the week here. But temperatures sitting in right now the low 40s, 41 officially at the airport. Low to mid 40s spread out across the entire Augusta area. But nice clear look there from I-20 in Grovetown. Steady traffic. Let's look at that area of patchy dense fog really opening up from Richmond to Burke County, Highway 25 in and out of Augusta, down towards Waynesboro here in western extreme Aiken County. A quarter of a mile visibility. Outside of that, we're perfect. We're 10s here from Thompson, Aiken, Barnwell, 5 miles of visibility in Sylvania. So that patchy dense fog just kind of isolated to the Augusta, Richmond County area and parts of Burke County. 44 with that morning commute at 7 o'clock. The temperatures moving their way up into the mid 60s. Beautiful afternoon there from noon all the way to 5 o'clock coming home and finishing the day. We'll have sunshine. Temperatures feeling spring-like, finally back in a pattern of lower to mid 70s and an even warmer outlook coming our way, which I'll show you, coming in with possible 80s as soon as tomorrow afternoon. Rain chances are really holding off too. We may see some in the next 7 days. We'll also look at that in the next 10 minutes. Back to you.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. Thousands of people have no water in Waynesboro this morning. It's all because of a water main break.
And because of that, all county schools will be closed for the day because of it. Our Celia Palermo live on Highway 24 where all of this happened. And Celia, is there any light at the end of the tunnel?
Not right now. We actually just talked to the mayor of Waynesboro, who said they're not even really sure when the water is going to be drinkable. They say that water is starting to come back on this morning, but it's really just enough to flush toilets, nothing more than that. We want to give you a look at where this water main break happened. You can see this massive hole where crews were digging pretty much all night long to try and fix this. You can actually see a massive pipe right there in the middle. They say one pipe was punctured and there were 4 feet of spraying water going everywhere, making this just a really big mess. Lots of mud here. Take a look at some video from the scene last night where you can see those crews digging. The sheriff's office says that if you're having water issues, they're asking you not to call 911. You're going to need to go directly to the Waynesboro Water Department to get those issues figured out. But like I said, we just talked to the Waynesboro mayor. Here's what he has to say about how all of this went down.
The thing that I pride my city on is that we work together and we're working together with each other. And to see the other community leaders and other community businesses come together and say, hey, we're going to help the city of Waynesboro, that is phenomenal. We love it, and we love the unity that's happening with the Augusta Fire Department, Pepsi, and then the Sheriff's Department working with us. This is just, awesome to see everybody coming together, and that's what we should do. We should work together because we're right here all together in the CSRA.
At the sheriff's office, if you do need water there, that's where they're going to be giving it out. They say they're running low on water bottles and water donations right now, but they're expecting to get some from Pepsi in springtime very soon. But a big community effort coming together to make sure that people do have water to get them through until water is drinkable here in Waynesboro.
Celia, by all accounts, Waynesboro, it's not a big city. It's a small city. But when you're talking about 5,700 people, that's a big deal for all those people to not have water. So you went to Walmart late last night and they were out of gallons of bottles of water. What happens if the sheriff's office runs out too?
Well, you heard Mayor Carswell just talk about working with the fire department. That's because in just about an hour from now or so, they're heading to Augusta to the fire and EMA department where they're picking up 2 large tanks of water. They're hoping that can sustain some of the residents here in the area until it is drinkable, because like I said, they're getting some of that water restored this morning. They were hoping it's going to be drinkable by Friday, but they're really not sure. They have a lot of tests still to do to make sure it's safe for everyone here.
Celia reporting live for us from Waynesboro this morning. Thanks so much.
A major inconvenience for so many people. We could learn more today about the arrest of the Taliaferro County Chief Deputy and a lieutenant. Lieutenant Mark Conrad Richards and Chief Deputy Marcus Green are off the job this morning after getting arrested for having marijuana.
They were reportedly picked up Saturday in Gulf Shores, Alabama. They posted bond the next day. Lieutenant Richards is Sheriff Mark Richards' son.
Back in 2015, Richards was also arrested for DUI. Then he was working as a deputy in Greene County, and then after that, he got a job working under his father in Taliaferro County. Of course, as we get more details, we'll pass those along.
A Richmond County probation officer is facing drug and child neglect charges this morning. Investigators say Olivia Taylor called 911 after she says 3 people broke into her house in Warrenville, beat her and tied her up with duct tape.
When deputies searched the home, they say they found, quote, a large quantity of drugs inside. Now, police are also searching for Taylor's boyfriend. His name, Keith Antonio Williams. He is wanted on drug charges.
North Augusta's new SRP Park is kicking things off in a big way. At least 5,000 people came out to the stadium's first ever sold-out game. One city leader tells our Matt Koufax the final total was probably closer to 7,000 or 8,000 people. Overall, fans tell us they love the park itself, but the parking still needs some work.
It's going to be a long walk up the hill, that's all I got to say.
Oh, it was madhouse if we hadn't planned ahead.
Well, officials at the Green Jackets in the city say they are looking at last night's game to determine how many single game tickets they will sell for Thursday. And what they decide could help with those parking concerns.
A sad story out of Saluda County this morning. The sheriff's office says scammers are using a deputy's death there to get your money.
Corporal Dale Hallman died in a car crash last week while responding to a call. Investigators say more than a dozen people say they've gotten suspicious calls about Hallman's death. They say the callers claim to be with police organizations asking for donations and credit card information.
The Saluda County Sheriff's Office says, though, no one is collecting money at the sheriff's office. They tell us it's hard knowing that someone is trying to take advantage of this tragedy.
It's hurtful to see that kind of thing. I'd ask them to reach inside their heart, and I'd ask that the good Lord put his hands on them and let them see the light on what they're doing wrong.
Well, the sheriff's office says it will never call you for donations. If you do want to donate, call the sheriff's office yourself or double check with the Better Business Bureau to make sure the group asking for a donation is legitimate.
Happening today, a former Aiken doctor will learn his fate. Mackie James Walker Jr. is set to be sentenced in federal court. That's going to happen at 11 this morning. He pleaded guilty to illegally selling oxycodone back in August of 2016. Investigators say he wrote prescriptions for more than 51,000 pills. His plea agreement means he will spend no more than 20 years in prison.
Facebook's CEO will be back on Capitol Hill today. Mark Zuckerberg is meeting with lawmakers about how Facebook protects your information and how Russians could have used it to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. Some of lawmakers' concerns include, or rather sparked by data sold to a political consulting firm. Facebook says the firm learned about some 87 million users without the users even knowing it.
That was a big mistake, and it was my mistake. And I'm sorry.
Do you think the average consumer understands what they're signing up for?
I don't think that the average person likely reads that whole document.
Well, Facebook says it is taking extra steps to make sure this does not happen again. It's offering rewards to people who report any app developers who misuse information. The payouts could be from $500 to $40,000.
Augusta Prep's golf coach, Chuck Mason, is getting better slowly but surely after a bus crash in Macon last month. The school tells us he is now breathing on his own and he is becoming more responsive. Great news there. Nearly 3 weeks ago, the bus carrying Coach Mason and the golf team crashed into a truck carrying cement blocks. They were on their way to a golf tournament in Perry. Everyone else was released from the hospital not long after the accident.
Doctors at Augusta University hope baking soda will help autoimmune diseases, or people who suffer from them. Those can be anything from lupus to rheumatoid arthritis to psoriasis.
Much cheaper than medication. Alexis Allen live at the Medical College of Georgia at Augusta University with this rather unique way to help. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning. Well, autoimmune disease is quite common in the United States. I spoke with one woman who's been dealing with one for nearly 30 years. She used to be active duty in the Army, and now she says she can't even work. Beverly O'Hara describes her nearly 30-year battle with lupus one way.
Very frustrating.
O'Hara is one of the 23.5 million suffering from an autoimmune disease, according to the National Institute of Health. Dr. Paul O'Connor works with patients like O'Hara often.
One of the things that happens commonly in people with kidney disease, they develop a metabolic acidosis, because the kidney can't excrete enough acid.
O'Connor says he and his partner, Dr. Baggy, believe that drinking baking soda could be a cheap, safe way to fight autoimmune diseases.
For the animals, we've put it in their water to drink, and we did a small human study last year where we just dissolved the baking soda in distilled water.
The doctors believe the baking soda acts as an anti-inflammatory to help the body fight off the disease. O'Hara says she is hopeful. For now, she is keeping her faith.
Stay optimistic and to be positive about everything, because the more that people stay depressed and, think, well, I know there's no cure or anything like that, the more that you're giving in to lupus.
Some great news for so many this morning, Alexis, if it works. So how does this work?
Well, the example doctors gave me was, say the disease is in your spleen. The baking soda allows the spleen to expand, kind of like how baking soda allows cake batter to expand. That expansion fights the disease.
Great information.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you can skip medicine, you don't have to have surgery, maybe even in a case like that. That's pretty awesome.
It's a little pantry staple right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Looking out at some patchy, dense fog, folks. Really, over the last 30 minutes, we've really started to see a lowering in visibility around Augusta and portions of Richmond, Burke County here. And it's very isolated. It's right around the metro from Richmond, Burke County, along Highway 25, in and out of Waynesboro. That's an issue. And western Aiken County, maybe heading out to the site this morning. Perfect visibility otherwise. 10s from Aiken, 7 out in Thompson. But then we got a clear view, and we have had one all morning here as we look at the Grovetown look. Beautiful skyline setting up. Just chilly. The temperatures aren't far off of the upper 30s officially now. Lower to mid 40s seems to be about a consistent reading here locally. Eastern third of the country really starting to quiet out now, thanks to that area of high pressure that'll be building in for the next several days. Front side of that high bringing in a cooler northerly wind today. At times maybe a little bit breezy. Winds 5 to 10 through about 9, 10 o'clock. We're looking dry, and we'll stay that way all the way into early Thursday morning. 8 a.m. conditions, starting to notice a little bit more of a wind shift. That's going to take temperatures up even warmer for tomorrow afternoon. Just look how quiet the Gulf states are from southeast Louisiana into the Carolinas. That high will start to park itself out farther into the Atlantic over the next few days. But temperature-wise, yeah, a little bit chilly. Throw a coat on here between now and 7 o'clock. Low to mid 40s. We'll see maybe a few high scattered clouds between Edgefield, Saluda, Aiken, maybe Richmond County here by 1:30. Temperatures upper 60s. And then right around the close of the afternoon here, early evening temperatures around 6:30 are sitting there right at about 70 degrees. So a beautiful day coming our way. Waking up with temperatures for the most part in the lower to mid 40s, about 40 to 45 degrees here between Augusta, Edgefield, and Aiken. High temps. Boy, they just get nice and warm on us here. Second half of the week, 73 today, close to 80 tomorrow. Friday looking with sunshine and summer-like temperatures around 83. 6:42 your time.
Well, the fish might not always bite, but no one leaves feeling empty when the heroes are out on the water. The nonprofit organization originally was just for service members, but now they're helping first responders heal. More after the break.
All right, thank you, Jason here. We're finally starting to get into a warming trend that possibly is going to continue into the weekend. Weekend forecast straight after the break, next 3 minutes.